Well, a sitting member of Congress just went on national television and said she's more proud to be Guatemalan than she is to be proud to be American. Then she blamed white supremacy for the backlash. I can't even make this stuff up. Now, Tom Homan got involved, and he obviously wasn't having any of it. And what he said next hit like a freight train. Let's watch this. This is Andy with TrendingPolitics.com. Hit like, subscribe, and let's get into this one.
Think about the millions of immigrants who came here legally in the great industrial wave of the early 1900s. All the way to the 1950s, they were eager to be Americans, to be part of the melting pot. They spoke English in public. But man, a lot has changed.
I want to finish by saying a few words in Spanish because I am a Guatemalan with much pride before I am an American.
Here to weigh in, border czar Tom Homan. Tom, that's Illinois Congresswoman Delia Ramirez. She tried to clean up her remarks, of course, then blamed white supremacy for the criticism of those remarks. Your reaction, especially given the great patriotism of our immigrants throughout the last 100 years?
Well, wow. Wow. I mean, she's a U.S. citizen, serving as a member of Congress, had the privilege of the U.S. citizens in her state that voted for her to represent them. So her first obligation is to that state and to the citizens that put her in that position. So shame on her. I'm okay, she's proud of her heritage, but one thing she needs to know, that was the shot at ICE. I truly believe it was. She's supporting the illegal alien citizens of Guatemala in this country. And a veiled shot at ICE because she don't like what we're doing. But I hate to disappoint her because we're arresting thousands of illegal aliens from Guatemala every week, and we're going to continue to do so until every last one of them are removed from this country.
Well, we know that there is an ongoing child sex trafficking operation to arrest the predators who have been destroying innocents across this country, traffic people into the United States. And over the last just month, I mean, I saw 47 predators arrested, and among those, a slew of illegal immigrants. So maybe we should focus on getting them out of the country before we declare all of our, pride first in another country.
In addition to that, the Attorney General of Guatemala has reached out to me, hoping to return those children that we found. We've already found over 13,000 of those missing children. The Attorney General of Guatemala wants to work with us to get those children home to their families. So we are working with the government of Guatemala, and we'll do everything we can to save every one of those children. Again, we found 13,000. Some were safe. Some were involved with sex slavery. Some were in forced labor. But President Trump made a commitment to the American people. We're not going to rest until we find every single one of these children.
The left is going crazy, Tom, over the new Speedway Slammer in Alabama, which is another holding place similar to Florida's alligator Alcatraz. They're going nuts over this. And, of course, we have other facilities we hope are going to open up across the United States to help facilitate the moving of people out of the country. What can you tell us tonight?
Well, we're not going to stop till we get 100,000 beds. It was in Indiana. Look, we're not going to stop till we get 100,000 beds. We need 100,000 beds because everybody we arrest needs the bed. And that's where due process happens, right? That's where they see an immigration judge. That's when they have their hearings. So we need 100,000 beds to put people in those beds because everybody needs a bed. And they may be in that bed for several days. They may be in that bed for several months. But that's exactly what we need to have the biggest deportation operation in the history of this nation. I looked at the numbers this morning. We already got over like 300,000 removals. And considering 4 months of that was Joe Biden who wasn't doing anything, it's historic already. But with the big, beautiful bill, with more boots on the ground, more detention beds, more transportation contracts, you watch what happens in that coming year, Laura. It's going to be incredible.
We got to move them out, clear them out, and begin again with legal immigrants who want to be here and do the right thing. Tom, thank you for everything you're doing out there. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, here's the thing. They try to clean it up after the fact. They always do. But you can't unsay the quiet part once it's out loud. She probably didn't think it would be even translated or anybody would see or hear this. When you tell the country that your loyalty lies with another flag, don't expect applause. And it's not white supremacy that's upset about that. It's patriotism. And Tom Homan called this out. Straight to the point. If you're in Congress, your first obligation, your first loyalty is to the American people, period. Not Guatemala, not any other country, and certainly not illegal aliens. But what really struck me, what really struck this nerve, was how deep Homan went. He didn't just defend ICE, which is pretty much his job. He exposed exactly what's really happening behind the scenes. Thousands of illegals from Guatemala are being arrested every single week. Not just a handful, not just a couple hundred. We're talking thousands. And we're supposed to pretend like this isn't a crisis? He didn't stop there. He brought in the receipts with over 13,000 missing children being recovered under Trump's directive. Some forced into terrible things that we can't even talk about. Others were found in brutal conditions. Some of them were safe, but no child should ever face any of that. And these weren't accidents. These are deliberate operations that the Trump administration is doing to save lives and save the children. He campaigned on that. And while that's happening, the left is crying about Speedway Slammer and names like Alligator Alcatraz. Spare me. Here's the kicker. Guatemala's own attorney general is begging to work with Trump's team and Tom Homan to get these kids back home. That's how serious that they understand that this is. But the left would rather spin up the race-baiting drama than admit that Trump's policies are actually saving lives. Who can argue that saving 13,000 kids is bad? Who can argue that that's a problem? Then Homan drops the hammer at the end of this, talking numbers. ICE is making over 2,000 arrests every single week of just Guatemalan nationals. Many of these people, in fact, most of them with criminal records, murders, assaults, fentanyl tracking. And these aren't these harmless border crossers just looking for a better life like the left always tells us they are. These are dangerous people who are slipping through the cracks that never should have existed in the first place. Guatemala isn't sending us their best. That's not it. That's not even a cheap shot to say that. This is literally just the data. That country is one of the top sources of violent gang activity entering the United States. And it has one of the highest homicide rates in the entire Western Hemisphere. And yet somehow we're supposed to feel bad about detaining these guys? Homan has made it clear we don't just need beds, we need infrastructure to handle real threats. 200,000 beds means 200,000 bodies off the street awaiting deportation. There's no more catch and release under Trump administration, no more revolving door for these guys. This is the ground game of restoring national security. Transportation contracts, immigration judges, physical infrastructure. If you want the biggest deportation operation in American history, this is how it happens. And it's already begun. 300,000 removals already, despite 4 years of total inaction before Trump took back the wheel. Now imagine what the next year is going to look like. We're going to have boots on the ground, facilities expanding like Alligator Alcatraz, and judges processing case after case after case. This is Andy with TrendingPolitics.com. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and I'll see you next time.